All right. Hey, everyone. This is, with that being said, a Roux Fitness podcast. I am with one of our long-term members, Kelly Rovetto. How you doing, Kelly?
I'm good. How are you?
I am doing awesome. So sitting here, we did have a workout session this morning. Kelly gave me a hard time the entire hour. No, I'm kidding. But we do have a blast. We have a little small group training session that Kelly is part of, a little group of girls. We do it in the park right now while we're kicked out of the gym. But Kelly's been coming to Roux Fitness for 5 years or so, with a little year break in there.
5 years, yeah.
5+ years. So I've known her for a while. She's an amazing person. She also runs our meditations that we do virtually, as well as she runs a charity organization right now to supplies.
Supplies for saints.
Supplies.
Not saints for sinners.
No. I meant to supply supplies.
Okay, there you are.
Yeah. But Kelly, tell me a little bit, first of all, like your fitness background. How did you I knew you used to blow it out before you ever joined Roux.
Yes. So I started off, really my fitness journey started for me probably around the time that I originally got sober in Chicago. So I had a girlfriend of mine who loved to run. So I picked up running, and I just love the adrenaline. I love the runner's high, all of that. So I started marathon running and trained and ran a couple of Chicago marathons. And that was really my first introduction to fitness. I mean, I'd always known.
You did a couple marathons?
Yeah. Chicago.
You ran the whole thing?
2008. Yeah.
What was your time?
The whole thing. I mean, I'm a slow runner, but I like that.
You ran the whole time. That's impressive.
Yeah, it is. I wasn't fast, but so running, I started in sobriety. I was looking for something else to keep me occupied and to make me feel good, right? Other than alcohol. And so that really helped, and I loved it. I loved it a lot. But I never had the physique that I saw that I wanted in others. Like I'd see other people that had more toned muscles and more, they were just more fit in general. And so I've always been kind of an adrenaline junkie, running high intensity workouts. And when I moved to New Orleans from Chicago, a good friend of mine who's a coach at Roux, Shane Bohr. Hi, Shane. If you're watching. Hey. He would text me every so often and be like, you need to come and check Roux out. You need to come and check Roux out. And finally one day I was like, all right, fine, I'll go. And I came into CrossFit Roux and fell in love. So I really fell in love with the aspect of lifting weights. And prior to and I still mix in with CrossFit. It's not my entire.
Is that my kids
workout.
Screaming or your kids screaming?
No, my kids are.
My kids are screaming. Do you hear my kids in the background?
That's so cute. Oh my God. It's okay. It's like real world.
This is that quarantine podcast life, y'all.
Yeah, whatever.
I told right before I jumped on with Kelly, I told my son, I'm like, make sure your sister doesn't come into the room. And then I told Vivian, I was like, leave me alone for about 30 minutes. Okay. Just figure out something to do. And right now I'm hearing like, you're all like super intense with your story. And all I'm hearing is like,
oh my God. Wait, that's like when I'm doing meditations and I I tell the kids, I'm just like, when I have them, I'm like, you cannot come in for any reason, and I'm like, don't make any sounds. And I'll be like in the middle of a meditation, usually when I'm getting paid for, and that's when they act up. Like that's when I hear them in the hallways and I'm just like sweating, and it's just so fun. So anyway, so with Roux, I loved it because it had that weightlifting aspect. And I still today will, CrossFit is a mainstay for me. I also belong to Romney and Hourglass. So some other studios that are just different type workouts for my body that I really enjoy. And I have different friends at different gyms and studios. So I constantly need to mix it up.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
will tell you with CrossFit as it relates to personal training. Oh my God, that's so cute. I'm loving the morning sessions with you right now outside in the park. It's such a great way for me to just connect.
Hey,
And I love the girls there too.
yeah,
Amen.
awesome. So
Three.
I want to jump back a little bit.
Mhm.
So you're 8 years sober today, right?
Yeah, today's 8 years.
That's
8 years.
awesome. What was the catalyst? Because you're the second person we've had on here that has been sober for quite some time. We did a podcast with Keith Bergeron. I think it was our first podcast ever.
Oh,
And we
cool.
talked a lot about his story um, to finding sobriety. So what was kind of yours? What was the catalyst? What made you do it?
So, really, what made me decide to get sober was I had Jackson, who's my firstborn, about 12 years ago,
Hmm.
and I suffered tremendously from postpartum depression. So, that's really where my alcoholism escalated. So, I've always been able to drink and handle it and not have these consequences, but for one reason or another, it just crossed over. I mean, I drank alcoholically in college and all of that, but I was able to just manage it, And it's so funny because people will hear alcoholic. I didn't drink every single day. And every time I drank, I didn't necessarily get drunk. But when I would drink, there were some of those moments where I intended to just have a couple and then black out and wake up and be like, what happened? Right.
Yeah.
And so that can happen sometimes to other people, and it doesn't make you an alcoholic. But for me in my life, that was scary to me, right? And so the postpartum depression, it wasn't like, oh my God, like I wanted to like forever rid myself of kids, but I felt like a kid myself. So when I had Jackson, I got very overwhelmed and I felt guilty for feeling that, right? Because I had so many girlfriends that were spending thousands of dollars on fertility because they couldn't get pregnant. And here I was with this healthy baby boy, and I legit like was on my kitchen floor crying and
Wow.
waiting for him to yeah. And so I can remember when he was really young, most mothers count the hours until their baby wakes up so they can play with him, and I would watch the clock like praying for his nap time so that I could drink because I felt so anxious about being his mom, right?
Wow.
And
Yeah.
I'm very type A. So not knowing when he would cry, is he hungry? I mean, he's fed, he's changed, he's still crying. Like, what's going on? What did I do wrong? So I drank. That escalated my drinking tremendously, and it got to a point where I was starting to have consequences. I would black out. I would get in fights with people. I wasn't being a mom that I wanted to
Right.
be. Work suffered a little bit. So I just decided to roll into a meeting of Alcoholics Anonymous in Chicago.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
that's an incredible story. I think it's a lot of common themes between your situation and Keith, where like it was kind of your relationship with your family that was the catalyst to it
Mm-hmm.
a little bit, and job suffering and stuff like that. And it was so it's pretty interesting. Um, but both of you were also like functioning as well. Like I guess what you would say
Mm-hmm.
a functioning alcoholic, where you're still able to do your job.
Yeah, and I mean that is the insidiousness of the disease, is that it's the only disease that tells you don't have one, right? And
Right.
so like in my last year of drinking, I trained and ran a marathon. I got a promotion. You'd see me on Facebook and be like, wow, that girl's got it together. But behind closed doors, I had this like intense soul sickness where I can remember being at my bathroom sink and brushing my teeth and not even wanting to look in the mirror
Right.
because I wasn't I wasn't a good person. I mean, that's how I felt. I felt like something was wrong with me and I didn't know what it was, and I wasn't acting from a place that I was proud of, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
So I find that, or at least the people that I've talked to, maybe it's just because I own a gym and
Mhm.
we have people in recovery that go to the
Mhm.
gym. But a lot of people do turn to exercise. Is that because like it gives you a goal to look for, or it fills up time, or it's hard to, I guess, reach your fitness peak while being an alcoholic? Or kind of tell me, like, why do people turn to exercise in that type of situation?
Well, I can just speak from
For
me
yourself,
personally.
right?
Yeah. So for me, um, it's not so much about goals. For me, it's about the way it makes me feel. And
Right.
so I drank for the effects that alcohol produced within me, right?
Hmm.
I didn't necessarily, some people are like, oh my God, I love the taste of beer. I love the taste of, it wasn't really about the taste. Although now that I'm sober, I will go sometime, I'll see something on a billboard and I'll be like, ooh, that would taste good. But for me with alcohol, I really drank it for the effect it gave me. So in my anxiety, in my fear, in my depression, in my frustration, even in my excitement, whenever I would drink alcohol, it would, if there were negative emotions, they legit like made them go away. So
Wow.
for a second, I felt like on top of the world, right? And then when I was excited, I would drink because it just, not that I need a social lubricant, but it was something that just made me feel more alive. And so how that equates or transitions to exercise in a sober life, when I'm in the middle of a workout and my heart's racing, I mean, that is by far one of my favorite feelings in the entire world, because it's like I can't think of anything else, And I told you this the other day and you cracked up at it because I didn't make it up, but I heard it once. I'm not much, but I'm all I think about, right? And
I'm not laughing at, like, it's because I feel the same way.
it's like your mantra. No, but I mean, it's my mantra
Should
too,
be on the
right?
wall
So,
behind me.
well, you know what? It's human. Everyone and if somebody tells you that no, I don't think, that's bullshit. Like that's the human condition. We're always thinking about ourselves. And of course we're thinking of others, but we're thinking of others in, what do they think about me? How is this person treating me? How can I, whatever. So, and that's what I love about my program is it really deflates the ego. It's a program that's based around deflating the ego and really about being of maximum service to others. And we'll talk more about that with Supplies for Saints. But for me, in that one moment where I'm legit like dying, mm-hmm. It's a second, it's those few seconds or those few moments where I'm not obsessing about myself or what my issues are. I'm trying to get through the workout and it's relieving. It's peaceful. It's like love. It's lovely. And then after the workout, I get the high, right? Like you come down and you feel that. I mean, I don't know about
Endorphins.
you, but I feel great. Yeah. I feel really, really good. And I feel rested and I feel like I took care of myself in some way. So
Do you work out every single day?
I work out probably 5 days a week recently. When prior to the pandemic, I was working out 6 days a week.
Okay, so
and I think
you would
Sundays.
normally
Mm-hmm.
you would come to me, or you would come to Roux 2 to 3 times a week. Kind of give me your workout schedule.
Yeah. Okay. So Monday mornings I would come to you. Tuesday I go to Bosu uptown at Romney. That's like my staple. It's an 1.5-hour class. Wednesday, I come to you. Thursday is an hour blast day usually,
Mm-hmm.
or I'll run. And then Friday, I will go to 8:30 ride. So it's like a soul cycle at Romney.
Oh, cool. Very
So I
cool.
really mix it up because I'll
Yeah.
get bored. If I do something for a really long time, I check out,
Yeah, absolutely. Kelly is also the type of person that needs to be told what to do. Otherwise,
Oh, yeah?
Otherwise, she'll try to write the workout for her. No, I'm not.
That is true. Yes. Me and Amy did that yesterday. Really bad.
So what do you do on the weekend workout wise? Do you do something on your own?
I've been meeting Amy recently. We'll go to City Park and we'll read your workout. She'll watch your video. I don't. No, I'm kidding. We'll watch it sometimes, but we'll do your workout Saturday and or Sunday. So recently that's what I've been doing, or I have Romney streaming,
Cool.
which has been extremely nice to have something like that to do. What's nice about it is I could do it at any time. Like I did Bosu last week at like 7 p.m.
So I kind of want to learn, but want to fill everyone into your job, because I always find it quite interesting. Because for the longest time, Kelly would roll up into the gym and she'd be like, "Oh, I need to put this in air condition." And I'm like, it looks like, to me, you guys might not understand this, but it looks like drum heads for like a drum set. In boxes, but it's actually skin. So Kelly's always bringing skin into the gym that she has to keep refrigerated or cool. Tell me a little bit about what you do.
So I work for a medical device company, and we are in the business of providing hospitals and surgeons with devices used in implant-based breast reconstruction.
Mm-hmm.
So I carry alloderm, which is a cadaver tissue, and it's made for lower pull support in the breast. So as you know, if a woman gets diagnosed with breast cancer, they will have a mastectomy first, right?
Right.
The general surgeon will perform that, and then the plastic surgeon will come in. And as you know, with a mastectomy, there's primarily no tissue left, right? So that's, the second stage is breast reconstruction. So they'll come in, and I supply not only the breast implants or tissue expanders. So if they choose in the first stage to use a tissue expander is just a placeholder simply, and they will fill it up over the course of 3 months. They'll come back in, and then they will put a permanent implant. In the first stage of the surgery, if they use a tissue expander and or an implant, they will use alloderm to provide lower pull support, and that's where that product comes in. So I carry not only the cadaver tissue, but the implants as well.
That's interesting. Yeah, I super love it. So also, Kelly is, she wears many hats. And she does a lot of different things, most of which are very interesting. But in the past year, you started another company called Connect by Kelly.
Yes.
And you started providing meditations. I know my wife, for one, listens to all your meditations, or the ones you've been doing with Roux. You also do meditations elsewhere as well. I think you do them from Romney as well. And she says you were really good. I was able to listen to a couple. I have a hard time meditating, but I have listened to a couple, and you were definitely good at what you do. So how did you get into meditation? What did you have to go through in order to, I guess, is there a certification process or something, or?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So no real certification process. I think with any type of business or movement, I saw that there was an unmet need in our community. We spend so much time working out, right? Working our bodies out and eating right. I mean, your wife has a whole nutrition, line of helping women and men figure out what to put in their bodies, right? But what we forget about a lot is the motherboard, which is our minds, right? So we have these healthy bodies and these fit bodies and these, you open our refrigerator and it's full of all this, whole food and greatness, right? From a fitness standpoint, but then we're going crazy and we're fighting with our family members and we're, batshit crazy, right? I mean, I know I still deal with that a lot. So meditation for me, I picked it up when I got sober, just with fitness. It was another tool at my feet that I had to pick up, right? I didn't want to start drinking again. And meditation is one of the steps in the program that I follow. And so it's a quieting of the mind, and it is discipline work. And it's just like working out. You got to go in, day out. And so it's a practice I've really kind of cultivated and been disciplined about. Do I do it every day? Absolutely not. But I do find that with just like working out, when I do it, my days are easier. My life is softer. And so I just had this calling, if you will. I was working out a lot. I was meditating a lot. And oh my God, your kids are so cute. I can hear them. And I decided, you know what, I love writing too. Like if you follow me on Instagram, I did like a couple years ago, 100 days of self-worth,
Yeah.
which is really beautiful. And, so I love to write, and I love to, express how I'm feeling. I'm very passionate about that. And so I just was like, you know what, I'm going to just start writing meditations, and then I'm going to just start putting it out there. Like, I'm going to do a guided meditation. And I did my first one at Raw Republic, and 6 women came. And then Erin heard that I was doing it, and she invited me to come and do them at Romney. And so I'd gotten kind of like a mini following. And I think how the universe has really taken care of me, because not only have I created a small following, and that people really, it was like they didn't know they needed it until they needed it, right? Like, it's been really, really beautiful. But so the night before all of your gyms closed, it was the night that you guys got the notification, like, all non-essential businesses need to close. I did the last class at Romney, which was a live meditation at her studio. And it was streaming, and she, has a huge following nationally. And there was a woman from New York City she's a media guru. Okay. So she was editor-in-chief of Vogue, or senior editor of Vogue, editor-in-chief of Marie Claire and Red Book. She's worked with Drew Barrymore, Salma Hayek, Michelle Obama on all these women's issues. I mean, she's like legit famous, right? Okay. So she's listening to the meditation, and she reaches out to me after the meditation, and she's like, I would like you to come on board with my company. She has an online company called Covey Club of women who are like between the ages of 40 and above. And It's all about wellness, but it's about more women, female based. And so I'm doing now guided meditations on Sunday evenings on a national platform. So it's amazing how, like, just by me putting it out there, it's come full circle. So during the pandemic, I'm doing a lot of meditations for her in her community nationally, and for us at Roux, and just different places around the city. And I love it. It like brings me so much joy. And the people who do want to make it a practice in their daily lives, they love it. They tell me that it really does help their day.
What would be some advice you would give to someone, I struggle with it. I have a hard time doing it, or people like me where, those who are like scatterbrained, or their mind's always in another place, and or they get bored easily, like I'm one of those persons who gets super bored easily. And I always have to be on to the next thing. And that's almost with anything I do. So for those people like that, like, what kind of advice would you give to them to start your practice of meditation?
So I was talking with Emily about this past week. I think people get intimidated and overwhelmed by meditation. They think that they have to like sit and be quiet and like not think about anything. And the way that I meditate and what I've brought to our community is like a mindful, almost lazy man meditation, where it can be as simple as, every one of us has this moment before we go to sleep, right? Like, after your kids are asleep, or even if they're in bed with you, when you're trying to get to sleep, right? There's this period of space between, and it's quiet. You turn the TV off and you're going into your night, like you're going into sleep. Every human has that moment. And so in that moment, just breathing, and I think a focus on the breath is something you can take with you. You can take it in the kitchen, at a red light, when you're working out, the focus on your breath. So that is such a beautiful introduction to meditation. Just focusing on the in breath through the nose and the out breath through the mouth.
Go ahead. So
Go
I was
ahead.
gonna say, I really love that analogy to right before you go to sleep, after you turn the TV off, you're laying there, because I can think of that moment and I know exactly what you're talking about. So getting into that moment, or like saying like, hey, that's the moment you need to find, kind of like it allows me to
It's okay.
Guys,
I'm a
audience, I'm
parent, so I'm
sorry.
like, whatever.
I just heard my 2-year-old scream. But okay, come here real quick. Come here.
Oh my God, that's so cute.
Come here. Take care of your
Sweet
sister. Look,
baby.
I'm in a meeting right now. Okay, can you guys? Hey, take care of her. Love you guys. Thank you.
Aw.
Okay, well, don't do that. All right.
Oh, I love this. This is like so real life. Okay, so there you go. So that's actually, I'm glad that that just happened, because meditation, one of the biggest benefits of meditation, it gives you the opportunity to find peace in moments of chaos or
Right.
moments that you have no control over, right? Like that, being able to just come back and be like, you know what, that happened, but whatever, here we are again. So that's really what meditation, I think, provides for us. Because if you think about it, Bradley, you said earlier, I'm running, my thoughts, I'm here, I'm there. Whenever you're feeling anxious or fear, you're in the future. If you're scared about something, you're thinking about like, what's going to happen? What's going to happen?
Right.
If you're feeling shame or guilt or sadness, it's usually if you're in the past, right? And so meditation is really about this moment right now that we're in. Right. Me and you are sharing this exact moment. It's 2:05 on April 23rd. We'll never have it again. And everything's okay right now. Like I'm not in fear right now. I'm talking to you right now. So I feel like meditation grounds us, and I wish more people would do it, because we'd be living a much more peaceful world, I feel like.
I love it.
Yeah.
So the quarantine happens, coronavirus is spreading, gyms get shut down,
Yeah.
hospital workers are the front line of our defense now, and you start this charity organization called Supplies for Saints. Tell me a little bit about what you do with that.
So Supplies for Saints is an organization that I co-founded along with my girlfriend, Leslie. And that's actually who I met through my meditations, Leslie Seymour, who runs Covey Club. And we were just talking one day, and she had seen a news story out of New York about men and women on the front lines who are using coffee filters as PPE equipment, personal protective equipment, to help these patients who are suffering from COVID. And we were both, talking about it. And we're like, this is unacceptable. Like, this is the United States of America. And so we decided, just through the resources that I have all of the contacts of every hospital supply OR team manager. So I was able to call these hospitals and find out, like, hey, what do you need from a PPE standpoint? And it started very grassroots, just like that. And then the first call I made was to my pediatric dentist, my kid's dentist. And I was like, listen, all these offices right now are closed, like dental offices, plastic surgeon offices, ophthalmology offices. I was like, let me just call and see if these people have any extra, or these doctors have any extra material. And so, like, she was like, oh, I have 100 boxes of masks. And I was like, oh my God. So I actually went and did the first delivery. I went to her office, picked it up in Lakeview, and then drove to EJ and handed it off. And the OR manager there was just like, oh my God, thank you. And then I kind of realized, wait, this is a bigger deal. Like, this is going to get worse. This was right at the beginning of the pandemic. So I made this little video. So funny. I had like a paramedic take it in the back of EJ, and it went viral.
Awesome.
We got picked up on the news, and more hospitals that were asking for things, more offices were coming to us. So we have a Facebook page, Supplies for Saints, where you can still make donations, or if you need a donation, we've had a lot of nursing homes request things. We take care of you. And the most beautiful thing about it was New Orleans, the Tulane medical students, about 90 of them, came to our aid. So they set up 2 warehouses, because this was bigger than anything. We started in our houses. Like, we're having people drop off PPE equipment to our houses, and we were bringing them.
Wow.
And it just got so big so fast. So those 90 students created 2 warehouses, and now they are responsible for funneling the PPE equipment. So it's like a well-oiled machine right now. But
You have any idea how many
yeah.
hospitals you've hit up so far?
Every single one. So let's see, we have EJ, West Jeff, all the ones in the New Orleans metro area. So EJ, West Jeff, Toro, Oshner Baptist, Oshner Main, Oshner West Bank, West Jeff.
Wow.
So around 7 or 8, Oshner Kenner. Yeah. So we're really like manning the whole New Orleans metro area.
Yeah.
So why that is so cool though, just to go back to, I'm not much, but I'm all I think about. Right. If I wasn't sober, this would all not be possible. Like I'm always thinking about myself. So, what sobriety has taught me is that I will get the most peace and serenity through helping others. And you hear that and you're like, whatever, but I really find I get so much. I love them. They're like dying.
We're talking about peace
like,
and serenity, and my daughter
talk
is
to me about peace and serenity,
screaming her lungs
but yeah,
out. Oh
so
man.
it gives me an opportunity to just do something for somebody else. And when I'm doing that, I'm not thinking about myself. For me, the whole goal is how can I go through my life and not think about myself so much? Because when I'm not, that's when I'm at peace. When I'm working out and I'm dying, I'm not thinking about myself. I'm like, help me get through this workout. When I'm helping another person other than myself, it feels, I can't explain the feeling. It's like when you're coaching, right? And somebody's like, oh my God, like it's a feeling I can't explain, but I wish I could bottle it and drink it.
Yeah, no, I shared my top 5 fitness moments, last podcast, 2 days ago, yesterday. And one of them was coaching Emily in her powerlifting competition and helping her prepare for that. And I consider that like one of the greatest moments that I've had. So I definitely get that. You get a lot of satisfaction out of helping someone else out, and a lot of times more than helping yourself out.
Yeah. And like I think what's behind that is I matter. Like when Emily's helping me with nutrition, she matters to me. And so when I leave her session and I send her a text, that makes her feel good. Right. And so it's like, it's that feeling of mattering, you know what I mean? And I think I talk about the human condition a lot. I think every human being suffers from self-worth problems. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, am I good enough?
All the time. I deal with that all the time. I mean, I would think that probably most of us most of us that work out the way we work out probably all suffer from that.
Yes, absolutely.
So any final tips you want to leave someone that's listening to this, either, someone maybe looking for that catalyst to find sobriety, or someone trying to get some peace in their life and start meditation, those types of things. Any tips?
Well, I think, routine is extremely important, especially during this pandemic. So even waking up like last night, oh, sweet girl. Last night, Sloan and I went through the ritual of, brushing our teeth, washing our face, these simple little things that we can continue to do, working out, right? So routine has been extremely important. And if you are looking for some more peace and some more, serenity during this time of upheaval, it's not future tripping. It's not sitting here today and being like, oh my God, what's in my bank account? Am I going to make it next month? And sitting in that, because all that is, that's wasted energy. So you can sit in it all day if you want, but it's going to give you a headache, and all it's going to do is just cause more fear inside you. I think meditation or just in general today, for instance, like I have a choice. We have a choice. We can allow ourselves to like feel what we're feeling and say, you know what, I am feeling fearful, but I am not fear, right? Like I can have the feeling of fear, but I am not fear, and I don't have to act or live from a place of it. So being able to watch your thoughts, that's a big one. Like being able to have the thoughts that you're having and being like on the side of the stream, and the stream or like the currents of your feelings, being able to be the observer and say, oh, look, I'm feeling scared. Oh, here it is. It's going to pass. This too shall pass. All of this will pass. We're never scared 100% of the time, right? Like our feelings come and go. So just know that, and we're going to get through it. Yeah.
I love that, Kelly. I'd love to end there. Where can people find Connect by Kelly on social media?
So Connect by Kelly is the name of my IG handle. It's on Instagram. And then Supplies for Saints is our organization, which we have a Facebook and a website. So
what are you guys looking for in terms of donations for Supplies for Saints?
Any PPE. So PPE is gloves, medical grade gowns, gloves, and masks. Those are the 3 pieces that we're really trying to collect, and then funnel to all of the hospitals.
Awesome. I love it, Kelly. I love what you're doing. I love how much you have grown over the years, where you are now, and then how you're influencing people to help make themselves better and those around them. So it's amazing.
And let me tell you one thing about you. I love you and Emily and what you guys have done with the gym, because I put down CrossFit a couple years ago, but when I learned that Emily was doing this nutrition coaching and that you guys had so much to offer from a class standpoint, I fell in love again. And so I came back, and y'all have been so instrumental in my.
I love it, Kelly. We love having you. So thank you, girl. I appreciate it. Bye.
All right. Have a good one. Bye.
By the way, don't forget to subscribe to us on iTunes or Spotify. Leave us a rating and a review. We love your 5-star ratings. We love your reviews better. Check out Kelly, Connect by Kelly, and Supplies for Saints. So appreciate it. Y'all have a great one. Bye.
Okay. Bye.